What's up, TW fans? Jake here with this week's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. We're a couple weeks behind the Bassmaster Classic. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We've got a bunch of classic release products, and we got some stuff that we just kind of been waiting to come in stock for a while. First one up is the new Daiwa to Tula Elite series of rods. Now, this is one we've all been pretty stoked about to see the updates. This was a classic release that just came out. There's a bunch of different models. Daiwa's really beefed up their pro staff in the last couple years. So a bunch of the new pros have got some signature models within the line. And one thing we wanted to show you guys, there's so many options throughout the entire line. You got to go down there and check all those show more information links and check all the different handle types. Within the series, you can get cork handles, EVA handles, there's full grips, split grips, there's regular guides, AGS guides, so tons of different options throughout the line. So make sure you go down there, check out all the information so you know what you're getting into. These new rods, these new Tula rods, they have these nice embossed logos, just a little bit different on the cosmetics. Looks like they're just a touch darker. They're also 15% lighter. So the last series of rods already had a phenomenal blank. They've lightened that up just a little bit, really crisp actions. They've changed up the reel seats on them as well. So they've went to their air sensor carbon fiber reel seat on there. It's super, super comfortable. You can wrap your hands around there. You get a lot of blank exposure, and it helps lighten that rod up just a bit. But like I said, there's a ton of different actions. Any technique you would ever want to do. One of the ones that I was stoked about is one of the Johnston brothers designed this stick bait football jig rod, casting rod, super light, comfortable. Like I said, there's a ton of different models, so pretty much got any technique covered that you need a bass fishing rod for. Next series of rods we want to talk about are the Stealth Stixx. So these were actually designed by West Coast pro Randy McAbee. They got high-strain Japanese Toray carbon fiber blanks, so really, really light and sensitive. One thing that's unique about these, they have the microwave guide system on there. So significantly increase your casting distance, reduces the backlashing. It's almost like a guide inside of a guide, really sweet system. Down here on the handles, as you can see, the entire thing is carbon fiber. The reel seat, the locking nut, the grips, everything's carbon. So it's crazy lightweight, and then it's going to transfer vibration down into your hand much more efficiently than an EVA, foam, or cork. They have quite a bit of models throughout their lineup as well, so you can get you covered from anything from jigs, jerk baits. They've got a sweet deep cranking rod, swim bait rod, whatever you'd need. And then, Stealth Stixx, they're all blacked out, got that matte look to them, so they are a sharp-looking series of rods. Let's go into some reels. So this is a new reel from Lews. So this is the Lews Custom Lite SS. So if you're into finesse fishing, this is going to be one you want to check out. This is a BFS kind of tuned bait casting reel. Super, super shallow spool, 30 millimeter, super shallow spool. It's got amazing free spool, but with that really shallow spool, it really reduces the amount of inertia it takes to generate the cast and get the spool to start spinning. So it's really geared towards throwing super, super small, ultra lightweight lures. It's not made for your heavy-duty flip-in, pitch-in. I believe it only holds about 55 or 65 yards at 8 pounds, so you can only hold just a little bit of line on there. But for the finesse fishing applications, it's getting more and more popular with bait casting equipment. This is exactly what you need. And it's crazy lightweight, too. I believe it's only 5 ounces, nearly the entire body, side plates, the handle, everything's almost carbon fiber on here, EVA foam handles. So it's super smooth and lightweight. It's just going to be a dream to fish some of those small baits. If you want to fish some of those small cranks, tiny little swim baits, that's going to be a reel you want to check out. From Nomad, our buddies over at Nomad got some really cool stuff that just came out at the Classic. So this first one is their Vertrex Max Lipless crankbait. If you've never checked out Nomad stuff, they're really popular in the saltwater world. Last year, one of their trolling lures was one of the hottest trolling lures on the West Coast. Guys were buying them, and you could not get one to save your life. People were selling them for $200-300 on eBay. They make some really cool stuff. The owner, Damon, was down here explaining kind of, how some of this stuff works. Up on top here, they've got their patented auto-tune system, and that's where really all the magic happens. So they've got this on a bunch of different baits, so it gets the bait to perfectly track straight. It doesn't have to be tuned left or right like when you have to, like a deep diving crankbait or anything like that. So this thing makes it track straight, and then it also makes it generate a tremendous amount of vibration. This because it vibrates super hard as well, it also clears grass really well. Another unique thing about these lipless crankbaits is when you pause them and they swim down, they actually swim and kind of dart around as they swim down. The underwater footage is pretty amazing on it. The next one they got here is their Vertrex Max. This is the one that I'm pretty stoked to try out just because it's really unique. They've built some of these for saltwater in bigger models, and they catch all kinds of stuff on them. Fish them down 200-300 feet and catch all kinds of cods and all kinds of cool stuff off reefs. Now, kind of a smaller model that you can use in freshwater for bass fishing. So it's kind of a hybrid between a soft plastic and a hard body lipless crankbait. So with that soft body, it's going to be completely silent, and it's going to have a different texture. It's going to produce a different vibration, not going to be as aggressive as the Swim Trex. It's going to be a little bit tighter, but I feel like it's going to have a more natural presentation to it. It's got that forked tail on it, so it looks just like a shad, but something really cool. You know, fish have never seen anything like this, so I think it's going to produce a lot of bites, especially when everyone's out there with their lipless crankbaits. That's going to be something different, help you catch a few more fish. Now, from Damiki, we got a couple hard baits from them. So from Red Crest champion Brian Thrift, we got a smaller size in his BT series of square bill crankbaits. So his square bill is an awesome square bill. I mean, he's known for running and gunning, you know, rolling up to a spot, making a couple casts, putting the trolling motor back down, going to the next spot. So he knows how to cover some water and trigger some bites. This little square bill, it's just a hair smaller than the 60 size. This is a new 50. So if you're looking for something just a little bit smaller, runs a little bit shallower, they got the new 50 size in the Brian Thrift series of square bill crankbaits. All right, next up from Damiki, we actually got a couple BFS baits. So if you pick up the reel and you need a couple baits to throw on it, Damiki's got you covered. So the first one here is their Oompa 40 popper. Tiny, tiny little popper, but this is gonna be great for if you're fishing ponds and you got like a lot of pond smell or little bluegills, or you just got smaller bass and are really keyed on smaller bait. This is gonna be a fun little popper to throw. It's tiny, but it does have a pretty deep cut mouth on it, so you're gonna get a pretty good amount of spray. But with the size of it, it's also gonna be a multi-species bait. You can catch trout and crappie and bluegills and all kinds of stuff on that little bait. Really cool little popper. The next one here is a little disco crankbait. This has actually got a kind of a bigger bill on it, so it gets you down to 5 to 7 feet for such a small bait. I think this one's gonna be killer, especially coming up when the shad, during the shad spawn. A lot of the times in our reservoirs, we get really, really small shad, and this is gonna match those perfectly. So if you're looking for just some smaller stuff, if you fish really clear water, or if you have really pressured fish. Out here on the West Coast, some of our lakes are highly, highly pressured, and going down to these smaller things can be the difference in getting some bites. So some more cool, you know, BFS stuff to add to the arsenal. From Stixx, keeping with the Finesse theme, Stixx has got a new Finesse series swim bait heads. One of the better designed swim bait heads I've seen in a long time. Kind of has a, I guess like a pyramid style head, you know, a lot of bait fish detailing on it. When you look at it up close, you can see the gills, the eyes, everything's three-dimensional. It's a really cool little swim bait head. And they also have different hook options within each weight size. So you can really dial it in what size jig head you need for what size bait you want to throw on there. It's got a triple stack cone keeper so that it holds plastics on there really well. Phenomenal paint jobs, just like everything from Stixx. So if you need a new little Finesse kind of swim bait head, Stixx has got a new one on the market you want to check out. That bite usually gets good here in the next few months. You know, post spawn, moving out into the summertime, the little swim bait bite, it gets red hot. So make sure you pick some of those up. Another thing that's good, kind of coming up here early summer, buzzing frogs, buzzing toads, buzz baits, all that kind of stuff. Zoom's got a new one that just hit the market. We actually got them a few weeks ago, and I think, you know, all of them went out the door before we can ever even get our hands on them to show you guys. These things have been flying out the door by the thousands, so get them while you can, because once the topwater season is in full effect, it's going to be hard to probably get a batch of these. The Zoom new Uni Toad. So on the top, same body as their Zoom Horny Toad, which has been a phenomenal hit for I don't know how many years. Now they're giving you just a different tail option with a little swim bait tail. So it's going to run a little bit differently. It's going to have more of a, you know, side-to-side kicking action versus those two little legs. So going to be a little bit more subtle than the frog. Going to be great for when the water's pretty slick calm and you just want that thing to kind of wake across the surface. Also going to be a great trailer for your buzzbait. So most people are running a soft plastic, some kind of toad on their buzzbait. I feel like this is just going to give you a better profile and kind of a better action than the toads would. You can fish it on an EWG or a screw lock, or throw it on a buzzbait. You know, fish it right over the top of the grass. You can sink it down, fish it through the grass a little bit. Really cool bait from Zoom. From Livetarget. This is actually one we've been waiting nearly a year for this thing to come out. This is the new Livetarget Live Shrimp. One of the most highly realistic shrimp baits we've ever seen out there on the market. This was actually the best of show saltwater lure last year at ICAST. So it has a hard plastic body, and then down here on all the arms, it's a TPE plastic. So those things are gonna have all that little bit of micro movement. You put this thing in the water, any kind of water movement is gonna move all those little legs around. It looks just like a real shrimp, and everything in saltwater wants to eat a shrimp. It's got a nice hook there on the top, and then on the bottom, it's got this weight system. So that weight system's gonna, sink it on down and just get this thing to wobble back and forth and keep it, keep it tail down. Really cool little shrimp bait. If you're fishing like the Gulf, any kind of inshore stuff, this is gonna be a great one to throw in the arsenal. You can use it for cod fishing. You wanna throw it up as a teaser or something like that, definitely work for that. Last step, we got a few soft plastics. First one here from Lake Fork. This is the new Pig Claw Chunk. Now, we did get a hot deal on these. So we have them in a few different sizes, I believe 2.5 inch and 3 inch, and we have them in 25 packs and 30 packs. So you can get a ton of plastics. If you're looking for a little chunk for some of your jigs, you can put these on a full-size jig. You can get the smaller one and run it on more of your smaller finesse jigs. There's a bunch of different colors. I believe we have 25 or 30 different colors, and they're loaded with scent. And like I said, you're getting a 25 or 30 pack. So if you fish a lot of jigs and looking for a chunk trailer where you can load up with, that new pork claw is going to be the one to go with. Last step from NetBait. Not new shapes necessarily, but we got the new NetBait bait fuel. We got the pack of craw, and then we got the pack of chunk. So NetBait is making nearly all of their shapes in the bait fuel formula now. I just grabbed a couple of the two most popular ones just to show you guys. But if you go on to tacklewarehouse.com, go on the NetBait page, there's worms, creature baits, craws, tubes, finesse worms, all kinds of stuff that's in the bait fuel formula now. We saw it over the last couple of years how effective that bait fuel stuff is, and now NetBait is going to be offering that in a ton more soft plastics. Some of the best ones some of the best sellers, that pack of chunk, they got them in a bunch of sizes. There's about 1 million colors, so feed it onto your favorite jig, match up the colors, and then they're a little pack of craw. It's loaded with air, so it sits up off the bottom, but this is a great punching bait, flipping bait. You can thread it onto a jig, a swim jig, a vibrating jig, whatever you want. They have some phenomenal baits now available in the bait fuel formula. That's going to wrap up today's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. For more information or to purchase any of these products seen here today, click shop for the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this week's video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, let us know in the comments which one of these products you're most excited about.